Hello and welcome to the Advanced Trish Guide. So you want to learn how to be an archer, do ya? You want you want to be some kind of item throwing maniac. All right, so let's start with Trish's items. Okay, as we always do in these videos. So let's go to roster Trish. All right, what are her best items? Like with most characters, speed tends to be one of her best setups. The reason for this is with a battery, you have her spam act again and you just throw stones, and that's all she does. Now, if you don't want to use items, or if you think this is like cheap or something, you can just use her basic attack or fire arrow, that's fine. But speed is still really good. Act again spam is still really good. So generally speed. You can also run damage increase like strength. If you don't, let's say you're on your first, fresh save playthrough, you're not on New Game Plus with a ton of speed items. Strength bracelet's good on her. Accuracy bracelet can be good in bad weather. Otherwise, she has really good accuracy in clear weather. You could also throw the movement bangle on her. This is relevant to act again because it allows her to move twice. So increasing her baseline movement will give her 5 move, and then with act again, it gives her 10 move as opposed to 8. So huge upside there. Okay, so let's actually leap into a match and see what she's all about. I'm going to go over her absolute best build, as far as we know at least. We'll just go on liftoff. That's a good map to test because there's a lot of enemies. Okay, so some of these things we can talk about just kind of generally. So Trish has a short bow. That is her actual weapon type. So she actually does have the worst range of all the archers. I believe it's tied with Rudolph, if not slightly worse than Rudolph. So let's turn off most of these. We'll just run like a bunch of batteries. We'll run Piccoletta because it's funny. We'll run Eridor. We'll just run a bunch of healers. We'll run Medina, Flanagan, Medina. Alright, we'll run Trish. Okay. So we're going to have her run a speed build. I think that's her most optimal thing. So we'll just throw some speed items on her. For every New Game Plus you do, you get an extra speed bracelet, which is +3 speed, and you get 2 more speed amulets. So as I'm going down here, you can see I have an absolutely insane amount of speed amulets. Let's pull one of these off Grama. She doesn't need it. Let's grab a speed bracelet from someone who's not active. Archibald. Okay, so now she's at 33 speed. Great. Alright. Move some of these around. Cool. This is like an overly defensive team, but we're just going to be going over Trish. Okay, so she has short range, which isn't a bad thing. She can still hit, I think, like 4 tiles out. That's her average range. We'll go over her abilities, too. One big upside to Trish is that she can grab high ground with leap. So we'll show that pretty soon. So let's say you want to get up somewhere. She can do that. She can leap. So this is definitely one of her better abilities, being able to just grab high ground. You can also have its cost reduced to nothing, its cost. So this is really good for putting her, like she's one of the few archers, there's 2 archers that can do this, that can grab high ground. The other is Huette. So the fact that Trish can just put herself on high ground easily, plus or minus 10 height, range of 1 to 5, you have to consider how good this actually is. Like it also essentially gives her extra moves, so she can move and then leap. So this, like, she has baseline 9 mobility. That's pretty good. That's really good in a game where mobility does matter. This essentially means that she can push flanks, she can grab high ground, she can hold high ground, she can go from high ground to high ground. She can also double leap if you use act again, which I'll get into in a minute. But she's actually pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do, we'll check turn order. Oops, we're going to have her act again. This is her most optimal build, by the way. Item spam. Unfortunately, it doesn't use her bow at all. You can move when you act again, like before and after, so that's one upside to it. Okay, so Trish can gain TP by collecting spoils. Doing so may compromise her safety or position, but it is a thing she can do. If you have enough shutdown on the board, she can generally just run around grabbing spoils and spamming items. I would say this is her best use case, especially if enemies are balled up. Elemental Stone spam is ridiculous. So what we'll do here we'll just pump her full of TP, so she won't need to do that. But spoils, I mean, I would say in general, there's like 30% of enemies drop a spoil. So if you kill like, I don't know, 3 to 4 enemies near you, that's basically TP on the ground for her. And when she uses Act Again, she essentially has 8 move in packets. Like she can move 4 and then move 4. And if you have movement bangle on her, she can move 5 and then move 5. So she could run up, grab a spoil, get a TP, throw an item, move like, and then just sit in place, throw an item, and then retreat. So she can do this kind of like bob and weave motion. We're just gonna spam her with like turn accelerator just so she's getting a ton of turns here. Okay, so we did just use Act Again. So this is kind of point number 4. Act Again is Trish's strongest skill. If we look at her abilities, a lot of her passives aren't really good. They're just kind of whatever, like plundering shots, bullseye is pretty bad. No honor, like all the stealing things, they don't matter because by the time you get Trish, it's already endgame. You can already do effective farms. So her just randomly pulling usually low gold value items off of enemies isn't that useful. It's kind of okay, I guess, for the fresh save, but once you get into New Game Plus, it just becomes useless. Her best abilities are Act Again and Flaming Arrow. Plundering Shot is whatever. Bullseye is like a meme. It's kind of bad. It has lower damage than her basic attack. And when she's in clear weather, she has really good accuracy, so she doesn't need Bullseye at all. But with Act Again, what you can do is you can move to a position, either use your bow attacks or, in this case, spam stones. So this is single target, so we'd use Large Thunder. So she can hit an 88. She can hit an 88. And then she can run away. So she's effectively a durable, mobile mage. Kind of like how Piccoletta is with item spam, where she can throw items and be pretty good and pretty durable and have insane movements. Trish is kind of similar. She's essentially a bruiser mage via item spam. Also Piccoletta use a decoy for fun here. We're just going to spam them with shutdown anyways. Pretty soon. Okay. With Act Again and throwing AoE stones, Trish can deal very high burst damage in an AoE, target elemental weaknesses while also avoiding resistances, move in, throw a stone, move out. So I kind of showed that where I had her move in, throw a stone, and then move back. So you can kind of bob and weave. This is a very unique ability to her. It's essentially like she has her own personal twofold turn that she can throw on herself whenever she needs it, which is pretty nuts, to be honest. And it is, like, there's more uses than that. She could also heal, run up to a group of allies, heal them with an AoE, a large AoE range stone, and then throw an AoE. She can also set up oil tile, set it on fire. She can spam ice. She can create water. She can throw an ice and then melt it. So if you want to have her work with like a Zana or something, you can have her and Anna just create like a huge lake and then just nuke it with lightning. So she can do quite a lot of interesting things that are fun to play around. All right, let's give her... one other thing she can do, if you want to maintain Act Again and you're catching battery, it actually is a good idea to use one of the turns. So let's say, for example, she runs up to throw another large stone and you want to maintain it. You can have her come back and then Act Again. So essentially this will profit you an extra turn. So like you're basically spending 2 turns to get 3 turns. So you're just getting an extra, like you're getting like that extra turn every 2 turns, which is, so you're getting like 1.5 turns. The other upside too is if you just want to burn through it and you know you're going to kill enemies in this next round of combat, you have her spam her stones out, your allies clean up the damage, and then you continue on. And, you know, in between moving to enemies, she can use Act Again when nothing's nearby as you're pushing new groups of enemies. And this is like a pretty accurate scenario. You're usually not constantly being attacked by enemies. You usually have to like fight a group and then move to a new position, fight a group. So there usually is an opportunity for Act Again to be used in this way. All right. Okay, so Trish can use Act Again. Move twice and leap twice, covering an absurd distance. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to show this. Let's get Cordelia. She can just kind of chill out. I'm going to show what that looks like pretty soon. We're going to I guess we'll Fury this. If we can. Nice. Cool. It's almost her turn soon, so I'm just gonna show how absurd her movement can be when she does this. It's really it looks really funny because it's just so ridiculous. From the leap you get 10, and then you get like 18, and then if you put a movement bangle on her you get 20 move, and it just looks so crazy. There's just no way of getting around that. It looks crazy. It is crazy. It's pretty fun to do. All right, so you can see here. So it's similar to Piccoletta. Trish can do this. You can get huge damage off with elemental stones. It's not even funny. Okay. All right, I'm going to show this next thing. All right, so to maximize Act Again, Trish can equip a movement bangle and also have Benedict use Bird of Prey on her. This will put her at 6 move, so that when she uses Act Again, or even just moves in general, she has 6 move. So just with your basic Act Again turn, you can move 12 tiles, which is pretty crazy. And then also you have 4 jump, because she actually has base 3 jump. So you'd have 4 jump from the extra buff from Bird of Prey. And the difference between 3 and 4 jump opens up crazy routes. Having higher jump also increases your mobility, just being able to scale things. So pretty crazy, nutty things. We'll just have him... Oh wait, we have to keep Sereno alive, so we'll just do this. Just give everyone a battery. Okay, so we're gonna do the Act Again meme. All right, so we're gonna run. We're gonna move 4. We're gonna leap 5, just to show you how crazy this is. All right, and then we're going to move 4 and leap 5. I don't want her to go too far away because obviously she'll be exposed and get like attacked by a bunch of things. So, okay, Benedict. He'll probably just do this. Medina, she can just pass too. It's fine. I think in my Flanagan video, I forgot to mention he can use his Fury because Ramparts is so good you don't need it, to be honest. That's honestly his best use case, for sure. It's not even close, but I'm just realizing that now. Okay, so to maximize... Okay, I already went over that. Okay, basic attacks and Flaming Arrow can be used for follow-up attack, spam, back crits, when Act Again is active. So what you can do, if you don't want to use items on Trish, is you can have her spam just like basic attacks. You can have like a heavy hitting unit with like single target, like Serenoa or Julio standing behind an enemy, and she can shoot it from the front with like Fire Arrow and then trigger back crits, or she can be the one shooting the enemy in the back. And Act Again does allow her to get behind things because it essentially doubles her movement. And getting behind things, getting back crits, triggering follow-up attacks, this can be decent. This is like a B+ tier, almost A tier setup, but like the thing that puts her in a solid A tier is the item spam for sure. So if you want her to be doing her best thing, it would be item spam. For the absolute objectively highest damage output she can achieve, it's definitely item spam. There's no question. Then Flanagan can kind of just keep running around, flying, being annoying, just putting Fury on everything. We're just going to make the entire enemy team enraged, essentially. I could King Shield here, but Provoke is cool, so we'll just do that. Nice. Okay, Bullseye generally sucks and is not worth running. You just don't use it. To be honest, you shouldn't use it. Why does it suck? Her base accuracy is already high. It's a guaranteed hit, which is extremely situationally useful. If she's in bad weather, her accuracy can be kind of bad. But if she's in bad, like look at her accuracy right now. It went from like 53 to 65 in clear weather. If you're in bad weather, just throw an accuracy bracelet on her, and then problem solved. There's no reason to waste TP using Bullseye. Fire Arrow actually is good though. Like if she just catches some battery in general, she can spam enemies down pretty effectively with Fire Arrow. Okay, we have Act Again. Alright, so here, let me show you like the upside of like Fire Arrow. Okay, so you can see here, It still does physical damage. So if we were to back crit this guy, it does decent damage. However, one of the big upsides of items, and this is true for all items, especially most of the things that Trish is going to be shooting are going to be weak to magic. Most physical units have either the same magic defense as physical, or they have slightly lower or way less. In the case of shield units, alright, so she can hit a 380, she can get them down to 385 with a large stone, versus this. Let's see what this hits. Less damage, and also her position's now like more dangerous. So in this situation, what I can do is I can just throw 2 stones, hit him for 153. I can move up here. This is why Act Again is good. So instead of wasting 4 TP to deal less damage, I put him at like 30%, and now I'm back with my team, instead of compromising her position to get a back crit. So you can kind of see the huge advantage that throwing items has over using actual abilities. They're generally going to be outdamaged by like the abilities are going to be outdamaged by stones. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why the game's like this. Honestly, what I would have done is made items generally weaker and then made Picoletta's buff stronger and Medina's buff stronger, so the actual item units benefit the most from the items, and then the units who don't use items can kind of like do a terrible, like a shitty job of using items, but it's like there if you need it as like a last resort or just to like last hit something. I think that would have been fine. Just gonna double items here. I'm gonna use this. There you go. Alright, Benedict will just now her. Whoops. Also note, if you twofold turn her and use Act Again, it'll end her turn, I believe. You won't get like an extra turn. Okay. So what she can do when she doesn't have Act Again, like if depending on the situation, like let's say you're in this situation right here where there's enemies around you and using Act Again can waste a turn. Is it really useful to do? Usually if you have enough damage, you're better off just throwing a stone. In this case, I'm going to use Act Again just for fun. Just for no reason, to be honest. So we'll just Act Again. And then we will wait in place to shave off some turn order. I guess the final point, sometimes the items you steal actually are good. This is, I would say she's an endgame plus or an endgame / new game plus unit, so it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you do get like accessories. It is possible. It's very rare, but it is possible. So in some situations, you will get pretty cool items. It's like the average steal percent chance. It's like 20-something%, and then on top of that, the chance to get a good item is even lower. So you're talking about like 1 in 500, maybe 1 in 1,000 chance to get like a really good item. So it's probably not going to happen. Alright, so one thing Julio can do, this is not a Julio video, but if you have dudes surrounded and you want to get damage off, Julio can help with that. Everyone can be an AoE mage with stone spam, unfortunately. I don't know why items are so good, but they totally are. Just keep spamming. Just all the fury everywhere. Yeah, look at that. Dude, Fury is so broken too, because like, especially if I King Shield. It just creates like the perfect shape just to spam down. Like I can hit all these enemies. It's so absurd. It's so good. Alright, here's where Act Again can be useful, just for like spamming dudes down. You can get in and out too. And you can always move after you like kill a guy, so she can retreat. She can kind of move up and then like move in and move out. That's like the big takeaway here. She is a good unit. On New Game Plus, I would say she's a solid A tier, maybe A plus from item spam. The damage is good. It depends on the map. Yeah, I'm going to throw Bird of Prey on her just for fun, just to kind of show the advantage of using that. Obviously, there's all these ice tiles, though, so that's going to shave off some movement. He paralyzed me. Above and Beyond is so crazy, dude. That's pretty much it for Trish, though. I would say her best use case is spamming items. If you don't want to spam items, she can use Act Again to set up like compressed damage and follow-up attack spam. I'll kind of show that. Let's see, I'll just put Julio here just to show that briefly, because it's about to be her turn. Jesus, dude, Piccoletta. Alright, so you can just do stuff like this. And the big upside of Act Again is she can reposition, and you can also mix and match abilities. We would get a follow-up attack here. We can get this one, which is kind of interesting. We would get a follow-up attack here with Eridor, but because he's paralyzed, he can't, so we'll just get this one. So she can kind of get in between enemies. So, like, there is still a use case for Act Again Trish with just a bow, and it's, like, somewhere between B+ and A tier. Like, it's still viable. The reason I would say it's, like, it's closer to B+ is because the amount of AoE options this game throws at you on just, like, some basic units, like Roland, Maxwell, Frederica, Corinton, Narv. Those are, like, the main ones. And then the item spammers. Those will outdamage her just using her basic kit because they can hit multiple things. So single target her damage is good, but when AoE is, like, even just Medina right here, you might think, oh, Medina's like Medina's like a healer. It's like, all right, well, she just did like 250 damage, so not always the case. Same thing with Flanagan. Like, anyone that can throw a stone, look at that, he just did like 200 damage. Anyone can throw a stone for like 200 damage. That's the reality of New Game Plus. The stones are really good, so. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Trish. The spoils thing, I can kind of try to show that. I just have to kill some more enemies. Just kill the spear guy. All right, there's a spoil. So she picks up spoils along the way as she's moving, so she can run through spoils to pick them up to gain TP. If you're running Julio, she shouldn't need this. If you're just doing Act Again item spam, you shouldn't need this either. Let's kill this guy. I think she's out of Act Again right now. She just ran out. So we'll see what she has access to. Oh, he's resistant. Alright, send him with this. Jesus Christ, dude. It's like 340 damage. Piccoletta's insane with item spam. It's so absurd. Okay, here we go. So if we go this way, she won't pick it up, so we can like go here, flaming arrow this. She got an extra TP from the spoil. That's pretty much it though. If you can have her pick up extra spoils for TP, great. But you should be focusing on bursting things down, compressing damage, keeping your units safe, and shutting the enemy down. You should not be focusing on like picking up spoils if you have a battery. There's no reason. And honestly, just Act Again with item spam. She shouldn't be having dead turns in general, because usually, like, she just needs to catch one battery, like one TP every 3 turns from like a Julio or something, and that's, you can do that itemless. But yeah, that's it for Trish. Let me know if there's any other things that I missed or any interesting strategies with Trish. I'm going to be finishing up the other 11 units for these advanced guides. I'm going to try to do 1 a day because 3 Hopes is about to ship, and I've been playing the demo, and we're going to be covering that pretty soon. So we are running out of time to finish the stuff with Triangle Strategy, so I'm going to try to get all of it done over the next, like, 2 weeks. But yeah, that's it for this one. If you enjoy this, definitely like and subscribe. That's all for now, and peace.